don't want to just let things fall apart and be reactive. You want to be proactive, especially something like security, because that's literally their only job is, one, to make sure everyone's badges, everyone, work, their cat cards work, their access control badges. All right. And then to make sure everyone's security clearances are good, to make sure that everyone's read on to whatever, if you're TSCI, then you have to have a certain read on. That's within their scope, but also, the actual physical security of the facility, the closed circuit televisions, the magnetic door locks, the automatic gates, the server that runs and records all that stuff. That stuff is crazy expensive. It's crazy expensive. But so you could be there for HVAC, you could be there to give a quote for HVAC, all right, but you're already networking to other people in other sections and other divisions, that are going to have these needs. And you're going to be one of the only people even in front of them, period, because there's very few people who get in front of, you know, GS, government civilian. It's usually going to be GS, government civilian people who oversee that because they stay there for 20 years. They have continuity, whereas DoD soldiers, you're PCSing every 3 years. Everyone's always changing out constantly. So government civilians or GS employees, much of the time, they're there for years, and a lot of the times, those are the people you want to be networking with and making sure that they know who you are, seeing your shirt, seeing your capability statement, definitely getting their email. But the point is, there's very few people who, are in charge of dictating where money goes and what gets bought with their little pool of money. So through those examples, you can see how you can network through something or someone who's totally unrelated, right? You could still network, through all these people down here. You could still network your way all the way back up to the few top players. All right. So that's literally developing business. And by bringing something to their attention that wasn't even a requirement, like a fire suppression system that's leaking or faulty, like you just developed an opportunity out of nothing, all right? Because it wasn't even on their radar yet. Just an example of how I would want you guys to think when you're in front of the government, period. Whether that be a soldier or a GS employee, even contractors have a lot of responsibility. They don't have authority to spend money on behalf of the government most of the time, but still they might have the authority to, they might be contracted to maintain the facility or something like that. So then they would be the ones responsible for that fire suppression system or for handling all these work orders. From what I've seen, like the most well-maintained facilities are are ran by a contract. Like their maintenance personnel are on contract, and it's a performance-based contract, meaning, hey, when a problem or a work order is identified, you respond within 24 hours. It's all performance-based, and you can tell a GS or government ran facility from a contractor ran facility because one looks a lot nicer than the other. One's a lot more maintained than the other because a lot of GS employees, already did 20 years in the Army. Now they're just kind of doing their 20 years in the government. Not to say that this isn't all the time, because some GS workers are awesome. But much of the times when it comes to facility maintenance, landscaping, sprinkler irrigation, just trimming your bushes, overall cleanliness and maintenance, contracted facilities that are maintained by contracted personnel tend to be better looking because that's their only focus in life is that's their only job. Plus, it's performance based. So that's just something to keep in mind. But now that we got some people in here, I want to know what are some of your questions? What questions do you have from this course so I can start writing these down and making more videos, adding to this course and making it better and better and better. All right, I just went over business development, developing opportunities out of nothing. There's so many examples of how to do that, but I just want you to start thinking in that in that mindset is you're always scanning, you're always looking for opportunities. If something's broken or missing or old or outdated, even if it's perfectly fine, if that fire suppression system or access control is perfectly fine, hey, do you have the point of contact for your access control?